this depends on you, on if you are happy to continue to go up to the end of the 3 stages of this symposium that we are having. So, Mr. Mike, without taking much of your time, I hand over to you to take us through.
Thank you very much indeed, Chair and delegates. I wonder, in the light of the fact that we are not a large group, whether I can just establish, or if you could establish, who was here last time.
From what I see so far, only Brother Mark was here in the meeting. The 3 other members were not in the meeting.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And if I could ask, it would help me in the way I conduct this morning, if each of them could do a half a minute to a 1 minute introduction, just so that I can see how best I could serve.
Perfect.
Would you just invite them?
Yes, please. So as being suggested by Mr. Mike, may I start with Mr. Toga? Do you mind just a quick introduction of who you are, your profession, please? And then from Mr. Toga, I would move to Madam Mastini, and then Mr. Oliveira, and then lastly, Mr. Obi.
Yeah, morning. My name is Bernard Toga.
Morning.
Professionally, I'm an accountant. I work with the SNV as an accountant in Maputo.
Okay.
I am married. I think that is all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Mastini Matolo. I work in a bank, my MPC, my Bank's Banking Corporation. I'm an operation manager. Thank you.
Operations, did you say?
Operations manager.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Oliveira Sitoy, attorney, founder and managing director of STA law firm in Mozambique. And I have so many expectations on the topic.
So did I hear you correctly? You're the MD of a law firm that you started?
Sorry?
Did I hear correctly? It's a law firm, a legal firm?
Yes.
Located in Maputo?
Maputo, yes.
Thank you. When did you start it?
We started in 2020, but before we were, me and my partner, I and my partner were working in other law firms. But in 2020, we started our own law firm and we are growing, and we thank God on that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Mr. Obi.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Mr. Obi Agobadike. I am a businessman. We are mainly into importation. Import products from Mozambique, from Japan, from Australia, from China. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Welcome. Mr. Salvador, you joined us when we were doing just quick introductions. So please just quickly introduce yourself and tell us your profession.
Okay, thank you, sir. My name is Salvador Francisco Salama. I am environmental engineering.
Wonderful, thank you. For the record, Brother Mark, please go ahead.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right.
Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Mark Mashinya. I am an accountant by profession and working as head of finance for an international non-governmental organization. At the moment, the organization that I'm working for is Dutch. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Did you say it's a Dutch NGO?
Yes, it's a Dutch NGO.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. So myself, I'm Munyaradzi Sanyika. I'm an insurance consultant by profession. Currently working as a technical director in one of the top brokers here in Maputo. So Mike, this is our profile for today. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that each of you introduced yourself, because I'm going to give you the opportunity somewhere in the middle to have a little bit of coaching, and that opportunity will be for anyone on the platform today. And so it helps me a lot to know where you're coming from, and more importantly, where you're going to, and what you want to have achieved in life and the legacy you want to leave behind. So thank you very much for sharing, and I trust that we will continue to be open towards each other and to share in more detail as the opportunities arise. So as I understand it, most of you were not present at the last opportunity. Can you just stick your hand up if you were? There's a or just put your video on for a few seconds if you were, just so that I can see. So there's one. It looks like there's one person that came that was at the previous session. So what I will do then, thank you very much, Mark. So what I'll do then is I'll do a very brief overview of what we've achieved so far, because we will, once we come to Maputo in September, we will go into a lot more detail and give you the opportunity to have a deep insight into your fundamental God-given purpose. Now, we all have a common God-given purpose, but there is a unique and absolutely, totally unique purpose for each and every one of you. And you need to understand what that purpose is. And through the duration of your lifetime, God gives you more and more insight into what that purpose is. So, and it's very important to write it down, because we as business people all understand and even kingdom people all understand the critical importance of vision. But the question is, where does vision come from? And how do we derive vision? And how do we decide on vision? And how does vision fit into legacy? So many questions that are basically unanswered in the business schools. And as we look into the scriptures, we see that God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, all had a very specific purpose and that is the backdrop, the foundation of the vision that they each have. And so they've modeled the way. God himself is the master coach, the greatest coach of all time, and he modeled the way himself. And so there's a purpose for Christ's life, and also a vision that he had, which he fully accomplished for our benefit. And so we see that, and there's many scriptures on purpose and vision as well, which I'm not going to repeat here for you, because I'm sure you know them. So it is very important for us to understand purpose of our lives, so that we can get a much more accurate interpretation of what God wants for our vision. Not just what we want for our vision, but what does God desire your and my vision to be? That is a blueprint that comes down from heaven for each of us. And it is much easier to understand when, and much more accurate, when we have a picture of our purpose. So it takes quite a few hours to workshop and really articulate and write down your God-given purpose in the area of your personal, your family, your career, and your ministry. Each of those is 4 components or 4 pieces of your purpose. And when you have that clearly written down, it's very much easier then to understand what God has got in store for you, for your vision, for yourself, vision for your family, vision for your career, and vision for your ministry. Let me just stop and pause there for a minute and ask if there's any questions on that. You don't have to stick up your hand. You can welcome to put on the microphone and just speak. If there's any questions or comments or statements that you'd like to add to the understanding of how purpose and vision work together. Thank you very much. So once we have a very clear understanding of our vision, it is then a lot easier to articulate our critical success factors. And then to achieve the critical success factors, we then flesh out a number of a strategy or more strategies for each of the critical success factors. So that is the firing order. Once we understand purpose, we are able to articulate vision much more clearly, which means we are able to identify critical success factors, which means we can then build strategies and strategic goals for every critical success factor. So I'm going to give you a little bit more insight into that. We can spend a few minutes on that. I'm using a different PowerPoint than last week. It's a much more detailed PowerPoint, but I'm not going to use most of the slides. I'm not going to use until I get to Maputo. So this is just an overview, a different overview, an introduction from what I did a few weeks ago. And in order to whet your appetite for what some of what we will cover in Maputo in September. So if I can where is mine? Okay, there's the share screen. So can you see that now on the screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
you can see.
Right. So at the bottom is leadership, and we spoke last time for a good couple of minutes on what are the critical dimensions of leadership and of great leaders that helps people to go from good leadership to great leadership. And we spoke on a number of these issues, and we'll go into a lot more detail in September. But the one thing we concluded last time we were together is a very critical component of why most leaders do not go from good leadership to great leadership. And we can do all the other things well, but if there's this one thing that if we do not understand our potential, understand the huge potential that God has put inside every one of us, we will not be able to fulfill our true potential and purpose in life. And so the key to unlocking our true and understanding of our true potential is in fact the realization that we can grow every single day. So that's a very vague concept, because what does that mean? How do we grow? What is it? What do we need to do in order to grow every day? Is it just going to happen? No, it's not just going to happen. There is growth taking place, but it is not going to happen in the way God would design it unless we are much more deliberate and intentional. So what does that mean? So what we shared was that every person that wants to go from good to great will need to make a decision, a very important decision in life. And that is the intention and the decision to grow every day. And then I shared some of the 10 keys to growing every day. And we will go into more detail when we get to Maputo on that in September. So those 10 keys to growing every day are really, really critical. There are other keys as well, but there are 10 that I personally use on a daily basis to make sure that I very intentionally grow every day. One of the examples is that I ask God to give me up to approximately 5 new innovative ideas every single day. Now, God is so incredible that he can do that. The question is, if we're not ready to receive it, or if we're not expectant, it is unlikely that we will enter into that level of innovation. So by asking God to give you innovation every day, opens your spirit, opens your heart to receiving innovative ideas every single day. And it's absolutely incredible what happens to you. And I challenge you to try that and see if God is able to answer a prayer like that. And you will be amazed at how much more growth takes place in you, your family, your business, your ministry, by being open to God to receive revelation on innovative ideas to change the world and to change your business and to change your family and to change you. So there's just some quick insights. So then we went through some of these quotes, which I'm not going to go through again. And we can just see one as an example. Do not allow your colleagues and employees to work for you. Instead, let them work for a common goal. In other words, give them a vision, give them a dream, give them an understanding of where they could be in life. So there's a lot of great quotes here, and there's many more. So the table of contents of the process that we will, of some of the process, there's much more than this, but some of that process is we will deal with leadership and what are the critical components to take us from good to great. Secondly, we'll deal with the supernatural. What is the God role in you and me to go to higher realms of leadership of ourselves, leadership of our family, leadership of our business, leadership of our ministry? What are those higher realms that God has got for us? How do we tap into them? And then reflection is so critical to understanding our purpose and vision and mission. And so in order for us to understand purpose, a very important foundation is our identity in Christ and our identity given to us by Christ. So we are, every single one of us is unique. What is your identity? It is different from everybody else's. How do you understand identity? How do you define identity? How do you discover identity? What is this all about? And so we will help you flesh that out, in particular through purpose, vision, and mission. So the first piece of of identifying purpose is to unpack your identity by looking at your core values. So we each have core values, and no matter how much we might veer off the path of our core values, the core values will always bring us back to true north. It's very much like a GPS, a map which helps you to get back on target whenever you veer off the course. So our core values anchor us to the real who we are, and in our case, hopefully for all of us, who we are in Christ. So core values is a very important piece of purpose. And but there are 7 things in total that make up our purpose. I shared them last time we were together, and we'll go into more detail and practically give you enough time to work it out. But there are 7 fundamentals that make up purpose. And give you some more examples, would be things like strengths. The Gallup organization has done research on it's something like 30 million people. When I did it, it was 15 million. There's something like 30 million people that they've evaluated to discover the 34 strengths inside every individual. And that's what they've discovered, that every individual has 34 strengths, and no 2 individuals have the same combination of strengths. So there are many other components that make up purpose. I'm going to show you them just now. And then from purpose, we are able to identify vision, because vision is a derivative of purpose. So purpose is the totality of your life over the life of your lifetime, and even to many more generations. So your purpose, I was at a funeral yesterday of a great transformational leader that I was very close to, Dr. Wallace Ngorki, who was one of the top ANC people, and he was head of the Gender Commission. He was head of the Land Claims Court, and a great lawyer and statesman. And I worked with him for many years. He was also, he asked me to train him as a transformational coach and a transformational leader. And at this funeral, I was so impacted by the fact that his purpose in life is going to continue for many, many generations after his life, because of the massive legacy he has left in not just hundreds, but thousands of people. So it is with you and I, that the deposit we leave in the lives of people will continue way beyond our lifetime, through them, through their children, through their grandchildren, and through the things that we leave on the earth, like books and YouTube and many other things that we can leave on the earth if we had an understanding of how powerful our purpose is and can be. So purpose is something that God has given you, but if you are strategic about it, and that's what this session is today, it's about strategic, you can enable your purpose to affect many, 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 many generations after you die. The difference with vision is a piece of purpose. So it is the piece that you're going to implement in the next 1 year, or the next 3 years, or the next 5 years, or 10 or 20 years. So, or all of those. And then how do you implement vision? Through those mission critical success factors, as we discussed. So we can go into a little bit more detail on that. I'd like to play you this video clip, if I may.
A few years ago,
Oops, what happened now?
few years ago, I decided, as you will at some point, that it was time to recalculate, find new territory, break new ground. So I ended the show and launched OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network. 1 year later, after launching OWN, nearly every media outlet had proclaimed that my new venture was a flop. Not just a flop, but a big, bold flop, they call it. It really was, this time last year, the worst period in my professional life. I was stressed and I was frustrated, and quite frankly, I was embarrassed. And I started thinking about when the morning might come, because at the time I thought I was stuck in a hole. And the words came to me, trouble don't last always, from that hymn. This too shall pass. And I thought, as I got out of the shower, I am gonna turn this thing around and I will be better for it. And when I do, I'm gonna go to Harvard and I'm gonna speak the truth of it. So I'm here today to tell you, I have turned that network around. It doesn't matter how far you might rise. At some point, you are bound to stumble, because if you're constantly doing what we do, raising the bar, if you are constantly pushing yourself higher, higher, the law of averages, not to mention the myth of Icarus, predicts that you will at some point fall. And when you do, I want you to know this, remember this, there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. Now, when you're down there in the hole, it looks like failure. And when you're down in the hole, when that moment comes, it's really okay to feel bad for a little while. Give yourself time to mourn what you think you may have lost. But then, here's the key. Learn from every mistake, because every experience, encounter, and particularly your mistakes are there to teach you and force you into being more of who you are. And then figure out what is the next right move. And the key to life is to develop an internal, moral, emotional GPS that can tell you which way to go. When you inevitably stumble and find yourself stuck in a hole, that is the story that will get you out. What is your true calling? What is your dharma? What is your purpose? Don't expect the clarity to come all at once, to know your purpose right away. Maya Angelou always says, when you learn, teach. When you get, give. That, my friends, is what gives your story purpose and meaning. There has to be some way that this darkness can be banished with light. But no matter what challenges or setbacks or disappointments you may encounter along the way, you will find true success and happiness if you have only one goal. There really is only one, and that is this: to fulfill the highest, most truthful expression of yourself as a human being. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. From time to time, you may stumble, fall. You will for sure count on this. No doubt. You will have questions and you will have doubts about your path. But I know this, if you're willing to listen, to be guided by that still small voice that is the GPS within yourself, to find out what makes you come alive, you will be more than okay. You will be happy, you will be successful, and you will make a difference in the world.
So she made some very powerful points there, and I'm just going to quickly highlight them for you. So what Oprah effectively did is, as you know, no doubt, she is probably considered the most or one of the most powerful media people in the world. And yet she got a revelation that there was much more inside of her than she had originally thought. And so despite making so much money and so much success, she decided to go after her true potential. And she even got to the point of stopping everything that she was doing and changing direction and going after her true potential. That is a phenomenal decision to make. It's a very radical decision to make and a phenomenal decision to make. And so it sets a tone for those of us who are not sure of what our purpose is and what our potential is. And so she did this, and for the first year, she was in real trouble. The media of the world was saying it's a flop, and yet she knew that she was in her zone, in her true potential, in her true passion. And so she pursued and pursued until she had a complete radical breakthrough into a much higher level of success than she ever had before. And this is Oprah's story. So what did she share with us today? At some point, you are bound to stumble. Give yourself time to mourn. If things are not going the way that you expect them to go, the way you think they should go, give yourself a moment to reflect. Give yourself a moment to recalibrate. Give yourself a moment to evaluate exactly what's going on and exactly how this aligns with your passion and your potential and your purpose. Trouble does not last. This too will pass, she said. When you fall, there's no such thing as failure, only learning from every mistake. I am going to turn this thing around, Oprah said, no matter what the price. And then she said, recalculate, find your territory, break new ground. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. And she said, even develop a moral GPS, understand your purpose. So I'm not putting her up here as an example of morality or spirituality. I'm only putting her up as an example of understanding potential, passion, and purpose. Develop a moral GPS, understand your purpose in life. Fulfill, this is a beautiful statement, fulfill the highest, most truthful expression of yourself. Ask yourself, what makes you come alive more than anything else? You will then be successful, and then you will make a difference in the world. That is just so powerful. And are there any comments? I'd like to just throw it open to the floor for a moment. What else did you learn from that video clip right now?
Let me go for it, Mike.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, it was quite interesting to hear Oprah Winfrey say, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. For what the world needs is what is you coming alive. For me, that phrase stuck out so much. So I think a lot of times we're trying to look at the needs. We're trying to define ourselves from needs to ourselves, trying to see what does the world need and how can I satisfy it. But I think a light shone for me when she said, don't bother what the world needs. Ask yourself, what is it that makes you to come alive? That is the true identification and description of yourself. And what the world really needs is you coming alive, and you will end up making a difference in the world.
Beautiful reflection. Thank you. Can we have a few more? What really struck you in this presentation?
Good day. I like what I hear about what you say. What you learn, teach. What you get, give. Here, as my understanding, she's saying that what you have is not only for you, is to give to your humanity. You can't have knowledge and stay with the knowledge only for you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We have to pass it on. The more you give, you know, can you finish it? The more you give, the more you get.
Yes.
That's the principle. Thank you. So well said there.
The other word I got from, or the other insight I got from the video is consistency. So we should do things consistently and following our papers. The more consistent, the more, I think, the more accurate we will be following our papers.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Please go ahead. Any more?
Yes, Mike, the insight I got was on when she spoke about trouble. You say trouble does not last. Unfortunately, in many instances, when trouble comes, we tend to focus all of our energy on that trouble as if now it's now the permanent feature in our lives, forgetting that each and everything has got its own season, but we just have to embrace it and start again, like she said, that you have to purpose it in your heart that you are going to turn around whatever situation you are in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this season of the world that we're in the last 3 to 4 years, 5 years, with COVID and post-COVID, I think last year everybody thought that, well, it's over now, we can get back to normal, only to discover that the world has changed. Much has changed around the world. And this year, it appears that there's even much more change in the world, and let alone in your own country, with the geography and the weather patterns, but globally, the economy and through the spiritual world is continuing to shift. And the things that come against us are continuing to shift. And so we are in an ever-changing world. And so it is so critical to have a great understanding of the God-given identity and the God-given purpose that He's given each and every one of us. Any further comments? This is very helpful to understand what you got out of that and how you felt challenged in that. And I think this is really the starting point of great entrepreneurship is, you know, for whatever reason we are doing what we are currently doing through the circumstances of life and people that have told us what to do to earn a lot of money. And for whatever reason we are doing what we are currently doing, there comes a moment in life where we need to be honest with ourselves and with God and say, well, am I experiencing the same year every year? So over the last 10 years, have I had 1 year's experience 10 times, 2 years experience 5 times, or have I actually had 10 years of new experience? Am I growing significantly every single day and year? Am I moving forward to achieve my true and total potential and purpose? And this is the crux of this video, that understanding the totality of your potential is critical to transforming your life, your family, your career, and your ministry. The deeper your understanding of your potential and your passion will determine the depth of your understanding of your purpose. And it opens the door to your understanding your purpose so much better. And that's what we are going to focus on when we, one of the things we're going to get much more clarity on for every one of you when we come to Maputo in September, is to really make sure you've got a very accurate blueprint of your purpose, your vision, your critical success factors, and how to achieve those. So I'm just going to spend a few more minutes on that today. So once you get to the point of saying, okay, I need to get a grip of, doesn't matter what it takes, doesn't matter how much energy, how much, what I've got to do, but I really have to get to the bottom of understanding my passion, my potential, and therefore my purpose. So I've got a little video clip, which I'm going to play for you now, which helps you to get onto that road. I'm not going to go back through these. There's a few more slides up ahead here, which we did a few weeks ago, which basically speaks about what are the critical steps to enable you to get into a daily growth, a daily moving forward in your life, in your leadership. So let me get back to screen share. All right, so we will go into this in more detail. I'm going to play for you a Steve Harvey clip. And Steve Harvey has got he's got an incredible life. I think most of you will know him well, but just for the sake of those who don't, he had an extremely hard life at the beginning. He lived in his motor vehicle for a number of years, trying to get a grip of his true passion, potential, and purpose. And God gave him some amazing breakthroughs. And today he's really world famous in terms of being many things on a stage. And so here he is speaking to you and challenging you. So those of you who are stuck or you're not sure how to get onto the next level, or you're not sure how to break through to, you understand more of your potential, you understand more of your passion, you understand more of your purpose. How do you get on this road of moving forward? Let's hear what Steve Harvey has to say about that.
I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to tell you something that every successful person has to do, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you are waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. I'll tell you why I call it jumping. See, God, when he created all of us, he gave every last one of us a gift at birth. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, singing, dancing. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Some people do grass. I got a partner, man, who never wanted to go out with us because we stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out with me. Now I got to get up early, Mom, cutting Miss Johnson's grass. We kept laughing at this dude, cutting grass. How much they pay you? He got a landscaping company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass. But he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop, make $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks running around. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loved to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, when you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? Because your Bible says, your Bible says your gift will make room for you. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's nice. But if you don't use your gift, that education only gonna take you so far, man. I know a lot of people got degrees, man. They ain't even using them. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soar. If you don't ever use it, you're gonna just go to work. And if you're getting up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existing. At one point in time, you ought to see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you gotta jump. And here's the problem. I'm gonna just be real with you. When you first jump, let me tell you something. Your parachute will not open right away. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you it did, but it don't. When you jump, it's not going to open right away. You're gonna hit them rocks. You're gonna get some skin tore off on them cliffs. You're gonna get all your clothes tore off. You're gonna get some cuts on you. You're gonna be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That is a promise of God. That ain't a theory, that's a promise. His promises is true, because listen to me. You cannot name one single thing God has not gotten you through. Name it. And if he ain't got you through it, he currently pulling you through it right now. And the living proof of it is you sitting in here. If he hadn't got you through it, you wouldn't even be here. So if he ain't never not got you through it, why would he not let your parachute open? It has to open, man. But you gotta jump, though. Now, here's another thing. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tears. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make you. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know. You'll never know what God really has for you. See, your God has a wonderful life for you. Once again, I'm going to refer to your Bible. Now, you go down there, you memorize these scriptures, you don't apply them to yourself. Your Bible says that he comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. If I were you, I would jump. Because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills, and I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're going to have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm going to ruin my credit. If you got a job, you living check to check. Even if you got A1 credit, you can't buy nothing else no damn way. At one point in time, man, do yourself a favor. Go see what God really do. God hold you up, man. He ain't gonna let you fall. He ain't bring you this far to let you fall. Do yourself a favor, man. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump. Thank you very much.
So Steve said some very, very powerful, critical things there. One of the things he said, you can not just exist in this life, you have to live to your potential. If you wake up thinking there is more, you need to believe there is more. That is God speaking to you. Everyone receives a gift at birth and gifts at birth. Identify and live in those gifts. Your gift will make room for you. That's what the Bible clearly teaches. A gift will make room for you, but you need to strategically move forward. So what were the things that struck you most there? Let's have some further comment. Anybody, either you can speak about your own life, or you can just speak about what you understand God is telling you from this powerful video.
Yes, Mike, from my end, what struck me the most is the encouragement to us to have trust and faith, because you see, you got to jump and trust that your parachute will open. So that to me really, struck a chord in me that as we seek to move forward, we got to believe that there is hope for success where we are going, and we have to take the first step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we have a few more comments quickly?
From my side, Mike, the clip is saying that we definitely need to move out of our comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, whatever level you have achieved to that stage where you are, you either stay there or continue going down, but you can only move from that place to the next level by putting trust in God and exercising your faith, and then jump into it so that you can get the new opportunities that are still out there that have not yet been explored.
Very powerful. Thank you. Anybody else want to add? Excellent. Well, there are numerous additional video clips, which I might play one or two further, depending on participation. But I'd like to move into giving some of you the opportunity of a lifetime, actually, to be coached by a world-class coach. And so this is an opportunity that you can't easily let go. And it is worth many, many thousands of rand to you. And so you'll get the benefit at no cost. And but I first want to tell you a story or two. So, but when we get the opportunity to go through the rest of this presentation, we'll go more into the question of identity. We'll go more into the question of purpose. How exactly do you write up your purpose, and how do you frame that? How do you then convert that into a vision? How do you then convert that into critical success factors? And I think we did very well when we were together the last time. And most of you are new here today. And so that's why I've done a good 45-minute recap on what we did last time we were together. And I think to get the maximum value out of today, one of the greatest things that we can do today is demonstrate how exceptionally powerful coaching is. So let me tell you a few stories that come to mind as we as we coach. So the first time that I was on this particular process or course was in 2007. And I was going through the first semester, and I was being coached by one of the people, my partner coach, in front of the master coach, who happened to be Dr. Joseph Umidi at the time. And the most amazing thing is that what I'm doing today with you people is what God showed me when I was being coached in 2007. Prior to 2007, I was an extremely successful businessman, also a very successful minister for a season, and both my many years in the business world, in the corporate world, in numerous small, medium, and large organizations, as well as in the ministry, were extremely successful. And I was under the impression that that's what I was going to do for a lifetime, not realizing that God had another entire season for me that I never even began to realize or understand. And it was in some coaching sessions that God started revealing to me an entirely new area of my life. And one of the ways that he showed me this was when, I don't think I told you this story last time, but when I was in the US and I was with about 1,000 CEOs, and we were listening for 4 days to some world-class CEOs tell about their experiences. And I was sitting and listening to Jack Welch, who many regard as one of the greatest CEOs that ever lived. And that was at the time before he retired, at around his 60s. I don't know the exact year, but let's say approximately in his 60s, he retired. And many regarded him as one of the greatest CEOs that ever lived. Yet I was listening to him at age 75, when he was 75, speaking to 1,000 CEOs. And for 2 hours, he transformed our thinking in a way that very few people have ever transformed my thinking. So here he was at age 75, operating at a much higher level than he was at age 60. And God so deeply challenged me through this man. God spoke to me for 2 hours through this man to help me understand much more of my potential and much more of my purpose. It was a deeply moving experience. And today, 15 years later, I am still growing. I'm still rising. I'm still every single year reaching much more of my true passion, potential, and purpose, because I'm so open to much more of my potential and discovering more of my purpose every year as I go to God. And so it is a critical challenge that I'm giving you today, that for the rest of your life, if you open your heart to much more of your passion, potential, and purpose, you're going to get far more revelation, far more understanding, and you're going to grow far more quickly because of your openness to God. It's an amazing story. So let me give you a practical story. So in 2010, I was qualified as a top executive professional coach and a master coach trainer. So I can train people to the highest level of a coach and they will be recognized by the International Coach Federation. Also, I can train any CEO to be a much better leader and to be able to coach the people around him so that the people around him will accelerate their growth far greater than if they did not have coaching skills. So let me give you an example. I was one day, a particular person introduced me to a group CEO, and I sat with him at the airport in Johannesburg for a few hours. And at the end of a few hours, he asked me to join him in Swaziland in 2 weeks' time with all of his board, the group board. So the group board was made up of about 8 CEOs. Each of the CEOs had a very significant company in their own right. So we get to the conference, 3-day conference. The CEOs in the room did not know that I was running the 3 days. They thought the group CEO was running the 3 days. So he introduces me to the 8 CEOs and then hands the meeting over to me. So because I had not worked with them before, I did not try and explain to them what coaching was. I simply coached each of them one by one for the entire day in front of the others. And at the end of the day, so to give you an example, I took one CEO at a time for about an hour and coached each of them in front of the others. And so every time this CEO made a decision as to what to change over the next 11 months before the financial year end, that got put up on the PowerPoint. So at the end of every hour, there was a list of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that the CEO was going to do differently to what they had originally decided at the board meeting 2 or 3 weeks earlier. So unbeknown to me, the group CEO and the group head of finance were doing calculations, and because they were sitting just behind the CEOs, they were doing calculations of the change in the profitability of the organization because of the decisions that were being made by the CEO. At the end of this day, the group CEO got up and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that as a result of all of the new decisions that you made today, we will not make a 75 million profit, which is the decision you made 2-3 weeks ago at the board meeting. We will make 156 million profit, not 75 million profit, 156 million profit. But I, as the group CEO, want to put that one project that you decided on over 2 years and not 1 year. So I'm going to change it to 126 million profit over the next 11 months. So the whole board agreed on that day, at the end of 1 day's coaching, that the profitability of the organization was going to go from the existing budget of 75 million profit to a brand new budget that was signed off on that day at the end of the group coaching of 126 million. That is a radical difference for a group of very professional CEOs that have been running their company. They were all in their 45 to 55 to 65-year-olds. So they were all highly qualified, and yet, with a good track record. And this company had been going for something like 75 years. So they had a good understanding of their profitability. They had a good understanding of their stability. They had a good understanding of their potential. And despite that, one full day of coaching transformed their understanding of their ability to make success and significance so radically that they were able to change the projected profit from 75 million to 126 million. I never taught them on that day how to coach. I never taught them on that day what is coaching and what is mentoring. All I did was simply to coach one after the other to help them understand their potential, to help them understand what God had put inside of them, to help them articulate the things that they were already good at but needed some very powerful questions in order to help them see more. So it's not me telling them, or it's not a coach telling you what to do. That's not what a coach does. A coach asks very powerful questions to help you understand more of what you already understand, to help you recognize more of what you already recognize, to help you see more of what you already see, so that you can understand more of your potential, more of your purpose. So I could give you a very good description of what is mentoring and what is coaching, but that's not going to, right now, will not help you become a greater leader. That we can do in Maputo in September. And in a few hours, I can teach you incredible skills on how to mentor, incredible skills on how to coach. And those are not even complicated, but very, very powerful. And my thought to give you the best experience today is to invite some of you to be coached. And I wouldn't like to make a selection, first of all. Secondly, I wouldn't want to make a selection based on who you are. And thirdly, I don't know any of you anyway. So that is a good thing. So it'll help you to see how you can coach somebody that you don't even know at all. What I'm suggesting doing is asking a few of you to volunteer. I might be able to coach 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people. And we don't have to do it for many minutes. We can do it for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the subject and depending on what you want to put on the table. But I'm certainly willing and offering my time for you. And what I recommend we do now is invite a few people who volunteer themselves to state whether you would like coaching, and just given your understanding of your life, what is the thing that you are most keen to grow in? What is the thing, thinking about your potential and your perceived potential, what is the thing that you would most love to be coached on? In other words, what is the thing that you're most passionate to become great at in your life? Something like along those lines. So if you can switch your camera on, that would be helpful. You don't have to, but it would be helpful. And I'm going to give a few minutes now and ask a few people to do that. I will volunteer some people if I don't get volunteers, but I wouldn't really like to do that. So I'll make the choice not based on who you are, but on the subject that you put on the table, because obviously the subject matter determines how effectively one can coach in a period of time. But don't be misled by what I've just said now. Put your subject on the table and allow me to be a guide to you as to what we should try and coach on today. So who's going to volunteer first? So can I just have a show of hands? Can we just just put a hand up and say, I'm willing to be coached, and allow me to, okay, there's the first one. So while the rest of you are getting the courage, could I ask Mashini to please talk to me? You can put your camera on if you can. It doesn't matter if you can't. Would love you to do so. And just tell me in a minute or so, what is that 1 or 2 things what is the thing that you're most keen on being coached today?
Thank you so much. I have 2 points. One of them, I would like to be a good trainer on operations banking.
So you're currently an operations manager,
Yes,
and you would like to be a good trainer of what?
on operations, all the operation, train the branches on how to operate as tellers, as supervisor, as managers, to know the operations, banking operations, on the side of savings, deposits, on how do you say in English? Customer care.
Okay, fantastic.
The
Good.
other thing, I have to choose between this and this one. They are introducing me to be a moderator on meetings. When there is a meeting, I have to be the moderator. And
Okay.
that is not easy for me. And I had 4 meetings, but every time I have this meeting, it seems like I'm going to die.
Okay. No problem. All right. I've got your 2 subjects, and we can come back to one of them just now. Can I just please ask who are the other people that would like to? I saw Ienyi put up his hand. Ienyi, would you like to tell us what your subject is?
All right, Mike. For me, I'm passionate about providing financial interventions for Christian missions and missionaries. So I would like to be coached on how to sharpen the execution of this purpose and this passion. Also, I feel strongly called to the teaching ministry. I teach, so I would also like to be coached on sharpening this area of my passion and purpose as well. Thirdly, I run a consulting practice that solves problems for organizations, technical problems, project leadership problems, and business management and leadership problems. That is another area that I think I would love to be coached on.
And if you were to pick one of those 3, all 3 are easy to coach on, which is the one that you're most passionate to grow the first? The quickest?
Most passionate to grow the first.
The quickest.
Consulting.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that. Okay, great. All right. Thank you, Ienyi. We'll come back to you. So, Mark, I think I saw your hand next. Okay, go for it.
Yes, Mike, thank you. Well, I feel that my social capital is non-existent, and I really am interested in building a social network, and I'm very weak in that area. So it's an area that I would like to be helped on.
Building social networks. And you're, did I get you correctly? You're an accountant at an NGO, a Dutch NGO?
Yes.
Okay. And building social networks. And the reason for your building social networks, is that related to the NGO, or is it related to your future?
It is related to my future.
And your future looks like what?
Well, if I'm to go into business or consultants, I'll need social capital.
Yes. Okay. Business consulting. Great. I definitely will pick that subject, Mark, so you can get your thoughts together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I'll come back to you. And I'm not sure how to pronounce the next gentleman whose hand is up.
It's Oliveira.
Yes. Oliveira, would you kindly speak?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So I'm a lawyer by profession, and now I've my law firm, and we have a young in our team. We have a young people who are joining us for the first time, who are having their experience, professional experience, for the first time. And recently we have invested in training for them outside the organization, taking them, giving them opportunity to have more insights about how to perform effectively inside the organization. So I'm really concerned about my leadership inside the company, inside the organization. In fact, we have seen transformation, but I think that there is something. Sometimes we realize that there is something we could do more inside the organization in terms of leadership, in terms of leading the people, the young team inside the organization. And so I'm really concerned how to go deeper in terms of leadership, how to perform effectively as leader inside the organization, inside the legal firm which I lead.
That's a very, very good description of what is on your heart. I can hear your heart already there, Oliveira. And I definitely have a sense in my heart that I should coach you as well this morning. So you can get your thoughts together so long and just continue to build your thoughts along what you've just told me. And so there we have I think Mark and Oliveira, definitely. I would love to coach all four of you if I can, time permitting. So let's see how we go. Munya, would you like to explain why your hand is up as well?
Thank you, Mark. Mike, for me, I'm looking at how to transition my team for growth.
How to transition your
team for growth.
Your team, the people around you.
Yes.
How to transition your team for growth. What have you done so far to help them grow?
So we have defined the roles and the targets that they need to achieve, but still in terms of training or the training that has been given, still it's not giving out the required output or the projected growth that we want.
Okay. All right. That's another fantastic subject to touch on. We don't need a lot of time for that. So that's another beautiful one. Actually, every single subject that's been put on the table is coachable this morning. The question is how many of them we can do. So I think we'll have to close off the applications there. This is probably too many for the what started at 8:30. Oh, we only got another half an hour. Okay, so I guess the difficulty for me is deciding where to start.
Mike, you can drop me.
Okay. So I have, in no specific order, I've got Mark, Oliveira, Mashini, and Munya. So my thought was, while you were speaking to me, actually these subjects are all not difficult to coach on, and we could easily do all four of them if the time permitted. So I think I should start with Mark and Oliveira. Which one of you is keenest to start? Any one of you that would really love to go first?
You can start with Mr. Oliveira. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Thank
There
you.
we have consensus. Mr. Oliveira, are you okay?
Yes, I am.
Are you good? All right. Well, Mr. Oliveira, it might be a blessing for you to know that I have a number of clients that are lawyers. I have coached one lawyer who's got a national firm. He's now in Germany since 2016. And I have another legal firm that I'm coaching that there's 75 people in the legal practice. I'm coaching the group CEO, and my wife is coaching one of the top directors. So this is not an area of where I'm unexperienced, but every company is completely different, and every situation is completely different, and every nation is completely different. And so I come with a fresh mind to work with you. But thank you for the privilege and honor of spending a few minutes with you today. And certainly we can continue this conversation offline by all means. So if you could keep your answers fairly brief, and I might mention to you when I think I have enough on a question, but I would like for the first question, I'd like you to open your heart, open your mind, and tell me in a minute or so, if you can try in about a minute, explain to me where you and your partners see this company in about 10 to 20 years' time. What do you see? What is God showing you is the ultimate potential of this company in roughly 10 to 20 years' time?
I don't know if I got correctly the question, but our goal as partners in the company is to be in the highest position in terms of most important law firms in Mozambique. Reason why we've been investing in training, and sometimes we are planning some travels to get more networks outside the country, in terms of having more cooperation, international cooperation, because in our field, it's really important to have like contact with companies, especially before they started in Mozambique. Most companies in Mozambique, the big companies in Mozambique, they come from outside. They're operating in Mozambique, but they are based outside. And our goal is to try to get more international network in terms of contacts, so that we can have like more clients. This is more clients and more job and more results.
Very interesting. So you're saying that the most significant at the moment come from other countries?
Sorry?
You said that the very big firms at the moment come from outside.
I mean, for like organization in terms of clients for the law firms. The law firms are Mozambican, but the big clients are from outside the country.
I get you. I understand. So your competition is Mozambican law firms.
Yes.
Do you see yourself as a Mozambican company or a SADC company?
Mozambique, sorry.
Do you see your footprint? Do you see your potential footprint as Mozambique or wider?
Wider.
Okay, there we go. How much wider?
As much as possible, because we have different levels. We have regional levels in terms of Southern Africa, and we have much regional in terms of continent, all Africa, but we are thinking wider in terms of international, because these big companies operating in Mozambique are not African, are international, are from USA, are from France, are from, reason why much wider as possible.
Okay, thank you very much. I understand very well. Please tell me, just in 1 or 2 sentences, you've already told me you started in 2020.
Yes.
How many people, or let me ask you this, if you're willing, you don't have to answer the question, but
yes.
How many clients in total have you had over the existence of your company?
Well, good questions, and I'm open to answer. So far we have many singular clients, and our goal is to have more corporate clients in terms of organizations, and in terms of in this current moment we have almost 5 big companies.
Okay.
One of them we have a regular activities, like daily activities. The other companies, the activities are not regular because they have many other law firms. In Mozambique, if we have a big company, the big companies used to have like more than 3, 4, 5 law firms. And yes, our goal is to have more companies, more corporate clients than single.
Perfect. Thank you. That's very good clarity. So you have many individual clients and you have a number of big to very big clients, corporate as well. So here's the big question that I want you to think about and to give the most amount of time to is, what are your critical success factors? And I'll ask the question in another way. What are the most important things for you to change in order to grow your company? What are the biggest things that you must change to grow your company to new levels?
Very good question.
And for confidentiality purposes, you don't have to give me details. Just give me what are the biggest things that must change with. Okay.
I think the big thing is to open our network item. We should be opened. We are closed now. We are so closed, and the reason why we are investing in some international, for this year, we're investing in some international trips just to make the network become our big yeah, good to sell in terms of, because without network we are, and some, the point is, the big law firms in Mozambique, they are stronger because of their network. They have international cooperation with, whether with American law firms, whether with Portugal law firms, or whether with British law firms. So,
okay,
yeah.
very good. So the first option, or the first action, is much more networking. Okay, can you give me another one, please? I'm looking for 3 or 4 or 5 very big,
yes,
big things that you must change.
The another one is training.
Okay.
Training in different service and different fields of law. Training our recently we have trained our team in bank service. We had coaches outside and they were having their train outside the organization, and I think training is the most important thing. Having trained in different service, training in compliance, training in oil and gas, training in so many services.
Okay. Any other examples of training? But you've told me about technical training. Are there other types of training that are also critical?
Sorry.
You said the technical training.
Yes.
Are there other sorts of training that are critical?
I think in terms of financial management, I mean our team in terms of financial service, because inside we have people specialized in different, and there are people who are not lawyer and they work on those, and so we are thinking that team of administrative service should be there, yes, in terms of.
Thank you. And then when you introduced your subject, you also told me about your investment in training and about your leadership. You were saying you want to grow your leadership. Is it only your leadership, or is it all of the leaders?
All the leaders. So far, we are 2 leaders. We are 2 leaders. We are 2 partners, and so far 2 leaders, and trying to guide them, but also trying to get more leaders inside to hire, because our goal is to hire more people. So far, we are 9 people, 2 leaders, and the 7 are the employees. And I think that it's very important to have some of them as leaders as we grow, so that as long as we grow, the new people, the new employees may found a good structure, organization that can help them to know what to do and how to perform accurately their job.
Okay, that's fantastic. So we talked about networking and we've talked about training. Is there one more that is really critical that is on your heart? Are these the top 2, or is there another one?
Oh, there is another one. Is a continuous or ongoing investment on our in terms of what to say, equipments.
Okay.
Yeah, internal equipments, especially the technological ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much. So you've given me 3. I'm sure there's another 1 or 2 that I can think of, definitely. But we can do that the next time we speak. So you've given me 3 of the top ones: networking, training, and investment.
Yes.
For today's discussion, which of these 3 are the most important in your mind? Just pick one and tell me which is the most important.
For today, I think training is important. But
Okay.
in my heart, I think the network is one of the big. Yeah.
Okay. And if I was to change the question and say, which is the most urgent of the 3? Is it still the training?
Networking
Networking is the urgent one.
international networking.
Yes. So that is the most urgent.
Yes.
And the most important is the development of the team and the leadership and yourself.
Yes.
Okay, very good analysis. Thank you. So if I was to use the last few minutes of this conversation on the training then, there's obviously technical training, there's team training, there's leadership training, there is your own leadership advancement, and you spoke about financial management as well. So there's lots of very important training I've heard you speak about. Pick one of these areas of training that is the one that you want to most urgently work on.
Technical training.
Technical. Explain what you want to achieve.
In terms getting more being expert in certain service.
Okay.
For example, bank service, which we have been working on that.
Okay.
Compliance service, because
yes.
Yeah, in terms of the needs of the companies, and also yes, I think I can talk about these critical points: bank service and compliance,
Okay.
because other technical in terms of other technical aspects in terms of how to perform in the court, I think we have much more experience on that.
Okay, fantastic. So you've said there are 3 areas that are critical: networking, training, and investment. You've now chosen training, and you said of all the training that's important, the technical is the most critical. So I want to give you an opportunity now to set a strategic goal. So what is the most important strategic goal for 2023 in this area of bank services? Set the goal. Explain to me what the goal is.
The goal is to finalize our our department in bank service,
Yeah.
because we started with training of a team which will work on the bank service, and now we are dealing with all the equipments like headphones, like so many things, so that we have both the majority, and now we are dealing with the details, what
Okay.
can be improved and what can, I think is the great. So after the finalizing of these material assets and logistic assets, we start the contacts and sending our company profile specialized in bank service to our clients, and so
Okay.
that they may know that we are now working on that.
Okay, fantastic. So you've given me three things, three strategic decisions: finalize the team, get the equipment and the material sorted out, and then go to the market and profile the company. So I've just heard you say there are three goals, three strategic goals. So let's just take them one by one. And in one sentence, can you try and set a goal for finalizing the team? So I, Oliveira, choose to finalize my team by what date?
It's interesting. Yes. Okay. I choose to finalize my everything concern this department.
Yes.
Now we are in the middle of April. I think by the middle of May.
Okay.
So that everything is okay and we can go fishing.
Wonderful. So is the middle of May realistic, or is that a little bit too optimistic? How comfortable are you that the middle of May, we now in the middle of April, is 30 days enough time?
Yes, I think it's realistic because of the steps we've done so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are more than 75%, and because
fantastic.
of that, I think is realistic.
Okay, beautiful. So I, Oliveira, make a decision today to finalize my team in this bank services division by the middle of May. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, yes,
All right.
I confirm.
So tell me, when the middle of May comes, what, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the chances that you will, so 10 means 100%, 9 means 90%, 8 means 8%. What is your chances of success by the middle of May?
Success in terms of finalizing, or?
Yes.
I didn't get correctly the percentage.
So I'm just testing if you're too optimistic, or I'm just testing how realistic you are. So if you believe you will do it by the middle of May, then you can say 100%. If you think that there's a chance that it's not going to be by the middle of May, you can say 90% or 80 or 70.
Yes. I think I should say 99%.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's incredible. So that's a very good strategic goal then. So you're telling me that you actually are certain that you're going to finish this goal by the middle of May. So, Oliveira, we are out of time a little bit, but you need to answer that same question on the equipment. You need to think about it and then give yourself a date and then a percentage of viability, and the same for the marketing and going to the market. If you can set yourself a date and tell me how viable the percentage of the likelihood of success for
Yes.
the equipment and also for the market, going to market. Do you have dates for those other two in your heart?
Yes, I have. I think for the equipments, we can say the end of this month, because everything is almost done. We are fixing in terms of programs with our technician, I mean, the person who is helping us to install every system. So I think I can say 100% by the end of this month for the
That's
equipment.
incredible.
And for the market, I can say by the end of May, by the end of May, because I think that we have everything almost done, and by the mid of May we will get everything okay, and by the end of May we'll connect with most of our clients.
Wow. Olivera, I am amazed how clear your thinking is and how concise you've managed to do this. A really great coaching session. Tell me, how comfortable are you to give me a phone call and give me feedback by the middle of May and by the end of May?
I'm comfortable to give you a feedback by the end of May, by the mid of May, and by the end of May about all the steps done.
Okay, that's fantastic. So we'll do that, and then we can report back to the people when we get together in September of how the progress is going. And so what would normally happen, Olivera, is, and just for the sake of everybody, once we have done the first coaching session like this, then you, Olivera, would decide on the frequency of a conversation like this. For you, is it sufficient support, encouragement, and accountability to do this once a month? Do you want to do this once every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks? So you don't have to answer me now. We can have that conversation later. But I'm just saying, for the sake of everybody, a similar conversation like this should take place every so many weeks or every month to make sure that your growth is going much higher than it was going previously. And the same conversation can be had about your leadership. It's not a difficult conversation. You are asking about your leadership and your leadership ability and the leadership team around you, and then how to bring leadership skills into all of the 9 people. So that is not a difficult conversation, and we can easily have that conversation in September or whenever you want to have that conversation. Is that okay? Olivera, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. So
I gave you a summary of the options available to you going forward now and in September. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it is fine on my I don't know if I can give you by email, send the feedback by email.
Yes, you can.
before September so that can be aware about what in terms of results, especially.
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please. So when we speak in May, you can decide on the frequency of feedback you're going to give me so that when we get to September, there will be lots of fantastic progress.
Yes, yes. I think it will be okay. I will, we can decide on May.
Yes. Tell me, how did you feel about this conversation today?
Oh, I think it's a kind of breakthrough because I didn't at the beginning I was, what's gonna happen now? Now the coach is going to ask me things that probably I want to answer correctly, but I think it was an effective conversation. Is a real coach. And it's my first experience having this kind of experience to see in terms of how to progress and what to do in terms of number questions. So I think it's very, very important. It was an important session for me and for my professional growth.
Thank you very much for that powerful feedback. So was I too tough on you? Was I too gentle?
Yes, sorry. Sorry.
So you said you enjoyed it and it was very important. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
I think just to thank you for the I'm happy, and thank you for this method. I think it's an effective method. It's an effective method that helps us to realize where we are and how to go much deep in terms of our plans, goals for our companies and for for the success we want.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Oliveira. You are amazing. You are a natural person to coach. It's not difficult, and you think very strategically and very clearly. And I really enjoyed coaching you, and we can see what else you want to do before or in September. It was fantastic. So can I just go back to the chair, Munya? And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a coaching session like this, it may be 5 minutes, it may be 10 minutes, it may be 20 minutes, it may be half an hour, it may be an hour. I think this was an extremely effective coaching session and a very good demonstration for you all to see. I'm not sure what you were all told about the finish time. So, Mr. Chair, won't you please just take it back and tell me what you want from here? But I'm very excited about the group. I'm happy to coach all of you that have volunteered, but you may feel that you're out of time today. And so we can always make another arrangement for coaching the other people that volunteered. And so don't think that your opportunity is lost. We will, through the chair, we'll make other arrangements, either before September or in September. There will be more than enough opportunity for all of you. So for the moment, thank you so much for the opportunity to coach. Mr. Chair, would you please tell me what I should do next, or should we wrap up?
Thank you, Mr. Mike. With your permission, I was thinking maybe give 10 minutes to Madame Mastini on a question, and then we can wrap up after that.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Adam, can you tell us, now that you've heard of the first coaching session, which is the most important subject for you to quickly change your future right now? You gave me 2 subjects. Which is the one that's most critical for you to change quickly?
Is the second one meeting moderator?
Okay. So what would you like to see happen when you are a wonderful meeting moderator and public speaker? At what level would you like to see yourself operate at?
Okay, I will try to explain. First of all, I would like to see in me changing. I would like to know how to identify the issues of the person I'm moderating, because in this case, I will be moderating the branch managers and supervisors on their problems in the branch. I would like to identify easily their issues and follow up with them, defining a certain period to solve those problems.
Okay. All right. So if you obviously know the performance of these people, you know a lot about them because that's why you're the operations manager. So we don't have to ask you that now, but in order for you to become an incredible moderator, what are the most important things that must change in you?
The ability to for argumentation on the meetings. It seems like I'm not good on that. Argumentation. To listen what they're saying, to listen what they're saying and take this and talk about that to help them to perform better.
Okay, that's very good. So the number one thing is your ability to listen and to give feedback.
Yes.
All right. Is there another one that is critical for you for success?
Yes. I would like to help them to achieve their targets, their daily targets defined. And it seems that when the meeting is finished, I don't follow up. I don't know, and I'm expecting them to give me the feedback. But it seems that I'm not doing my job and they are not doing their job.
Okay. So now you've given me 3 things: listening, feedback, and targets. So
yes.
in order to use this coaching session as an example for you, can you pick one of those 3? Which one of those 3 is going to be the most helpful for you to change? The listening, the feedback, or the targets?
Feedback.
Feedback. So let's talk about feedback. How can you change the way you give feedback so that they will believe you and they will receive it and they will implement the feedback much better?
I think I need to give me time to work one by one by the branch manager and supervisors. During the week, I need to define the days that I need to be one by one, and I'm not doing that.
Very good. So you're not doing that at the moment?
I'm not doing that because I am full of work. And I'm not giving this as an important task.
Okay. Well, you've just mentioned what I was hoping you were going to mention, because until you convert your feedback into mentoring and coaching, it's never going to become amazing.
Okay.
So it's good in the group, but everybody needs some form of mentoring and coaching. So your answer is a fantastic answer. And all I'm saying is I agree with you. That is the listening we can help you with. We're going to do that in Maputo in September. the achieving targets, we're going to do that in September. The way you coach a group of people through moderating a meeting, we're going to do that in September. But I think the most important answer you gave me now was the one-by-one. Is just like I did with Oliveira, is you can then sit with each of them one by one. You help them to identify the vision, identify the strategy, the strategic goal, look at the options, choose which options are most important, and then they set goals to those options, and they set dates to the options, and then you agree with them how often they give you feedback. And so there's a whole lot of mentoring and a whole lot of coaching skills that goes into the one-by-one. So you definitely mentioned the most important thing, and I agree with you. You really did give her the best answer. There is the one-by-one, but in the space of 5 minutes or an hour, we can't fix that now. So in September, we're going to teach you all of the critical coaching skills, of which you've mentioned quite a few here. So I want to congratulate you. You did an outstanding job of mentioning the most important coaching and mentoring here. But to fix this, it's going to take us a weekend to work with you, to enable you to ask very, very powerful questions, to enable you to listen at the third and the fourth dimension of listening, to be able to help people to set targets, to achieve targets, to give them support, encouragement, and accountability, especially accountability. So I've just mentioned a whole lot of things now in summary that you will get in September when we work together. But thank you for your very accurate and identification of the issue. So you can start the process so long by working one-on-one. And how comfortable are you to do that?
Yes, I am. This is very important as for my performance, and I will give that time to work one-by-one.
Thank you. And by when will you start?
Next week, Monday.
Oh, wow. By Monday. Fantastic. Well, you are welcome to give me feedback and tell me how's it going.
Okay.
All right then. And I know this was a very short conversation, but how did that go for you?
Very well. I think the conversation I was listening between you and Oliveira helped me to answer very fast your question.
Yeah,
It's very well. And for myself, I was not expecting that is the coaching.
Well, thank you to the chair that you got the coaching time. And thank you to you
Thank
for your...
Thank you, Mr. Sorry.
And thank you for your outstanding answers. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for finding time to be on this session. So I believe now you have an idea of what we can do, what we can achieve when we actually have Mike for 2 days here in Maputo. So this is a challenge that we are throwing out to you to say, please confirm, are you happy for us to go ahead and ask Mike to come down in September to share more, give us more practical sessions. And also you are welcome to invite your friends, your colleagues, your spouses that were not able to be part of this meeting to also come for that 2 days symposium. So Mike, I think we can wrap up and then we can close off and release. They're a bit busy. So over to you before we close.
Thank you. So I just want to express my deepest appreciation to every one of you. I'm sorry we couldn't coach more people today yet, but between you and the chair, you can decide whether you want any further coaching before September. Otherwise, I certainly am very, very excited to be with you in September. I can't wait for that. And we will do a very good combination of lots of powerful training to enable you to be a fantastic leader of people, to build very powerful teams, and to be the leader of a current or a future organization. And in whether it's a spiritual organization or a secular organization, or a marketplace organization, to give you the best, the highest level of leadership skills to enable you to be the best in your industry. So God bless you. Thank you very much for your time and to be able to get to know you. Bless you all. Thank you.